Chapter. Something. Gonzo, my friend. This seemed to be a good time and place for the next lesson. Please look up. And Gonzo looked up at the sky. Out there, somewhere, it all started. Everything you know was a part of that start. We once all were together in one big happy bowl of existence. And when we were together, all the souls of the universe, we had so much sweet lovin'. That feeling is simply so nice you can't describe it in words. But existence can't live on love alone. Existence need informations to exist. Without information there's no consciousness, and without that, no existence. Pretty simple. If you don't know anything, what's the point of existing? The more you know, the higher consciousness, the more existing. It's as simple as only the universe can make it. And we all knew that. So we made a plan. And it was to separate ourselves from the sweet loving and travel the universe. And we found a way to convert energy into building blocks. To build the worlds we're picking up informations in order to exist. So every living soul in the whole universe is out of that same existence. And we're all out picking up informations. And once in a while we'll get back to where it all started. With our knowledge. To load it off for everybody to use. And knowledge is built on knowledge. It will never stop. As soon as you think you know it all, your mind will boil it all down to one simple question with one simple answer. And that answer will open up a whole new range of questions. It's all about informations. So, all the different planets are different schools where you learn different stuff. And all the souls on Earth are little sparks of the same fire, looking for informations. And Gonzo, if you look inside, I know you can feel that little spark. That's the part of you that's forever. And in there is your little box of informations that you'll take back with you to share with your loving soul friends. But, Gonzo said, if there are schools all over the universe, what do we learn on Earth? Dear friend, the nice source said, we have talked about concepts of the human brain, and you'd come far by now. But this will be a challenge. The first concept, to bend, is the hardest. And I know, Gonzo, that you want the truth. No matter what it is. So you better prepare for some serious concept mutilation. Earth, the planet you're living on, Gonzo, came out of a big explosion when a former solar system died. And in that process, all the building blocks were mixed in a whole new way. And that's a real smart design. It's like mixing a deck of cards. You will never get the same result. Remember, Gonzo, information is existence. By this way, we can get the most informations. A random result is better than a calculated. In this case, Earth came out of that, along with all the other planets in the solar system. And as you now know, the universe is teeming with life. It's everywhere. You're just not designed to see it. I mean everywhere. Tiny little sparks of existence picking up informations. But that sounds like a great big mess, Gonzo said. It's not. The energy it's built on comes from pure love. And with that, everything makes sense. And all the universe is under strict observation by different departments, having different tasks. Working a great big machine running on the constant search for knowledge. So, after the great big explosion that created our solar system, the creators began. And creators are highly intelligent beings who has been to a lot of schools. Basically they are engineers who makes machines out of building blocks. And then souls will move into those machines, designed to pick up certain informations. It could be a spider or a tree. It doesn't really matter. And Gonzo, it's so simple. If you don't let your concepts interfere. And those creator dudes, they are mega clever. They know exactly what conditions life would need to support itself. And they can make anything out of building blocks. And when they first saw Earth coming out of the great explosion, they all were really happy and cheered and drank a lot of date juice. Because this was the most beautiful planet they'd ever seen. Exactly the one they'd been hoping for. Because here they had a planet that had it all to support a whole range of life forms. It was so nicely adjusted in its circle round the sun, and the climate was exactly spot on, with seasons and all, and most important, the right amount of water. Life just loved water. If it had been just a tiny bit closer to the sun, the whole thing would have been different. But this one was just perfect. And the creators, who are mega smart, thought, this beautiful planet is gifted with love for all life. So let's make it our library, a library for all kinds of funny species we invented. Let's pick up all the most funny and weird plants and animals from all the universe and let them exist together. And all the creators cheered again and took a good sip of the good old date juice from Big Jocks. So the creators called all over the universe, because now there was work to do. And Gonzo, yes, Source, that's when we first met. And Gonzo looked really surprised and happy. Yep, the Source said. We'd been real good friends for a long time. And we volunteered to help making Earth ready for life. But we had to let it cool off a bit because it was pretty hot after the explosion. But after it cooled down, we had to clean the air from all the nasty vagina gases. And that was our job back then, Gonzo. Cleaning the Earth from dirty, stinky, slimy vagina gases, and replace it with a nice fresh mix of oxygen and some other stuff. And that was pretty nasty. Be glad you don't remember that. And Gonzo thought that it was good too, because vagina gases are real nasty. But we had a problem. We didn't know what to do with all the stinky, nasty, slimy vagina gas. Nobody in the whole universe would touch it with a 40-foot pole. And the only way we could get rid of it was to dump it right next to us, in that big old nasty crack smack dab in the middle of the nasty swamps of the great state of Vaginia. They call the Devil's Anus. Right here, Gonzo. You and me. We have been here before. After we stored all the vagina gases under the earth, the creators made a nice little oasis for all mankind to rest his penis, later called God's own glory hole. But when a pissed-off devil moves into such a nice little delicate penis hotel, he wakes up the gases. Everybody knows that. And not even we, the guys who control the universe, and all life, can't do anything about stinky Nazi vagina slime. Anyhow, so, nice and easy. The Earth grew into the most beautiful planet in the whole universe. And everybody had to come by to see all the funny creatures that the creators had made. And all the souls from the universe wanted to try to live there. Now it was so pretty. But, you know, Gonzo, my old friend, it's all about information. And you don't get much information from sitting watching a pretty planet. Everything have to be on the move. That's the way stuff works. Everything is born and die. And in between you collect info. But for now, Earth was a nice little healthy planet, with all the flora and fauna in place. It worked its own magic where each species were allowed to improve within its own gene potential. So Earth was under restriction in the way that one species couldn't evolve into another, but it could improve itself to enhance the chances of survival. Evolution running wild won't sustain life in the long run. But the creators who loved that little planet knew that the order soon would come from above to create intelligent life. And the creators hated that part. As soon as they had created a nice little place with all kinds of beautiful creations, they always get that message, and it will usually end up destroying it all because intelligence in the wrong hands can be destructive. And the creators pleaded for Earth to the higher-ups. But that's not how universe stuff works. Everything is based on love. and the higher-ups who was in charge of this solar system had made a decision. And, if you know that, the choice is made out of pure love for the common good, there's no need to question it. According to universal laws, is there no good or bad? Everything is just informations. But the creators never knew what kind of intelligent being the higher-ups needed for their new schools. You know, Gonzo, I have got a lot of superpowers. One of them is that I can replay all situations in the history of everything. And now, I'll play a recording from a special meeting the creators had. Lean back, my friend, and enjoy the view. Listen up. The most creative guy of all the best creators said, "We've got orders from above. And this is not good news. I've received a plan for creating an intelligent species. You all know, creators, that everything serves a purpose. And our beloved little planet has its destiny too. And we all know the sad fact. The more beautiful a planet is, the more destructive intelligence we'll have to come up with. It's all about informations. And guys, this one is real bad. And creators, we've got to use every trick in the book." Damn, the creator said. But the law is the law, and we all know it's made from pure love. Dear creators, we will do, as always when we are creating intelligence, start from scratch with the machine. For this specific operation we need a traditional bipedal self-reproducing humanoid. Right out of the book. 2 legs, to move it. And 2 arms, with hands at the end, to make stuff with. And of course, a head on the top where we'll store the computer. We already got some monkey-like creatures with the basic survival skills that we already created. It means that it got the basic 5 senses. That will make it able to navigate. We will mess around with their DNA till we've found a species that is suited for the purpose. And we will design a brain with very few specific informations, just the basic survival skills. But we will upgrade some parts of it to give it actual intelligence. And this intelligence will be a number 1 on the never-ending intelligence scale. The most important skills we will give it is the power of free will. And with that, duality. Basically, this brain will use its free will to choose from one thing or the other. Pretty simple. The most important duality is the 2 direct opposite powers, love and fear. The test is to eliminate the fear with love. And as always, we are not allowed to interfere with the free will. As always, when we create the lowest ranging intelligence, the souls will get a machine that has no memory of the great connection. Their task is to reprogram the computer, so its action reflects the laws of the universe and sweet butt sex. They cannot be let into the galactic community without passing that test. It will simply be too dangerous. The battle will always be between spirit and technology. And low spirit intelligence with dangerous technology always ends up destroying it all. That's the name of the game, folks. We will let this machine start from 0 and let it grow. Like everything else, we're not allowed to mess with the free will, but we will slowly feed it with informations, such as the use of fire and the wheel and other helpful stuff. And then we will see what those things can be used for, under influence of the free will. Know that with fire, you can sit around it, preparing food and getting heat with your loved ones, and smoke a joint. Maybe with a nice knot tickler. Or you can burn down your cave brother's house. That's the choice free will will be facing. The power of duality. We will enhance the side of the brain that'll make it wanna burn his brother's house. And we are looking for exactly that destructive energy. So our task is to produce a computer brain with the main program based on love's biggest enemy, fear, because it's the mother of all bad stuff. And we will get greed and hate and all the other things that it produces. We will design the brain so bad that they might let themselves ruin the very things that make life possible in the first place. And it's the only time we are allowed to interfere with the free will. It's to save the planet. And if that happens, we'll eliminate life and start all over. A float have proven to be the best way to start from scratch, but we'll cross that bridge if we get there. And those unfortunate souls that moves into those machines, their task is to find a way to control it and reprogram the brain till the point where the machine likes sweet loving bud sex instead of evil stuff. When the souls have learned to control the machine, they have graduated, and it would be from the hardest school ever. The important thing here is that humanity can graduate, not only as an individual soul, but as a species. Under the right circumstances, the souls will be able to wake up other souls, if the connection is established, and that can make them graduate as a whole class. Remember that souls uses the power of unity, the strongest of them all. So creators, we will create a civilization zero, on the never-ending civilization scale. They will be designed to fight each other, because of fear. But if they all agree that love is better than fighting, humanity will graduate and they will be a part of the Galactic Federation, as Civilization 1, on the never-ending civilization scale. So creators, let's make ourselves a mean machine. And since we don't have a choice, let's have some good fun, and be real assholes. And this machine will be controlled by feelings. The soul is not allowed to interfere with the brain's decisions, according to the laws of free will, but it can communicate through feelings. The brain will learn from those feelings and change itself, to ignore the negative inputs, coming out of fear. And in the end, you'll only see love as the answer to all decisions you make. So the plan is to let the machine run by itself on free will and negative inputs, and the soul will turn it back using of feelings. But this machine is gonna be a tough one to turn around. And it will take a whole lot of lifetimes to pass this school. But through knowledge they will be guided to see the ultimate goal. The biggest struggle will be loneliness. When these brains are born, they have no memory of the great connection built on love. They will really miss their loving friends out here, without really knowing what they're missing. That's the basic feeling of loneliness. And it's a real negative input to this brain, because they will do all kinds of crazy stuff to get rid of that sad feeling, and that will provide us with a lot of informations. And then we'll invent a thing called time. We all know that time is circular, but they'll see it as a straight line. This will help to stress it a little more. And that will also make it do all kinds of crazy stuff, just like we won't. And a really good one, we won't give it any protection against the elements, like all the other species have. And to solve those problems, it'll make him be able to start using his intellect from day one, by giving him a needle to see if he uses it for sewing clothes, or if he uses it to poke his brother's eye out. And you know, guys, now it's lab and computer time. And you know, we always have to make a lot of fuck-ups before we have the right machine. So we better get started. The source turned off the recorder, and they sat a bit in silence. That was a big bite for Gonzo to chew, and the source knew that. And it knew that it will open a whole new range of questions. And the source said, Gonzo, I know your concepts are under a lot of stress by now, but when you think about it, it's the only thing that really makes sense. Those creators are driven by the same force of curiosity that drives human and everything else. So civilizations that are billions of years ahead of humans are not any longer messing around with cropped DNA, like mankind do. Those smart civilizations have learned to split body and soul, and how to build brand new machines and manipulate intelligence. Bo, what happened when you die? Gonzo asked. They put you in a hole and sing you a song. Oops, sorry Gonzo, that's just bad source humor. But Gonzo liked his humor. Okay, when you die, the source said, you get disconnected. It's like a little string that is cut, and after that there's no going back. Shortly after you have left the body, you'll find yourself in a very beautiful place. The funny part about this is that you have designed it yourself, not knowing it. And it's simply the most beautiful place for you to be. It is paradise. It's a place where you are adjusting to your new reality. At that time you also have to do some real serious concept bending, because your mind is still attached to Earth. There you will hang out with other souls that you have a special connection to, like departed friends and family. But it's all your choice. It's your place to rest and come back to reality after that horrible Earth experience. Remember, Gonzo, this place is working on other laws of physics, so you can create anything, just using your mind. And you can travel at the speed of thought, and choose the body you want to live in. Anything is possible in that world. The whole human experiment is based on creating a world where mankind is not aware that it's all just a funny game, made by sweet loving universal brothers and sisters. And every soul had volunteered to try Earth School, and they have studied to learn the rules of the third dimension that they are going to live in. And everybody is just full of confidence when they start Human Earth School. But everybody realizes that those machines with that brain is simply out of control. It's a very beautiful design. It makes the best game ever. But no matter how much you love to be in that beautiful paradise after you died, it won't last forever. At some point someone will come knocking on your door and say, "Now is now." And by that they mean, now it's time to share informations. That's the way stuff works out there. And you'll go to a special place where they collect info. And here comes the funny part. Because every individual soul have to be confronted with their own actions through their lifetime, seen from the other individual's view. And there's only one judge. It's yourself. If you've been an asshole, you gotta go again. And you'll watch your lifetime with your friends. It's like a school class. And we know, Gonzo, it's all about informations. It's not about what you have done of good or bad, it's what you have learned from it. Remember, it's just a self-constructed theater designed for one thing, getting informations. In order to exist, it's very simple. So, for example, staying the same person don't make sense. And you'll have to control many different brains to pass this test. And not two brains are alike. You may be a little happy kid in this lifetime. And then you might switch with your mother in the next lifetime. Living in Africa. Pretty smart. It's just a theater, with yourself as the writer and director. You can make the basic plans for what you're gonna do in your coming lifetime, like choosing who you wanna be. You can choose to be rich or poor, or maybe handicapped, if you wanna score some extra points. And you can decide where to live, who your family will be, and other basic stuff. But that's what everybody else does, and sometimes those plans collide. And if you add the power of free will, duality, and a bad design brain, we'll get access to an infinite numbers of informations. So, after you have judged yourself, you'll make a plan for your next school. If you graduate at Earth School, you'll find a new school that will provide you with some other informations. But what about the trees and animals? Gonzo asked. Before you'll graduate as a human, you have tried all kinds of life forms on Earth. Everything is consciousness. But your concepts will have a hard time accepting that part. And it's a part of the plan. But if you accept it, you'll treat all life with love. Of course you're pretty confused right now, but you'll see, if you give it a little time. It will all make sense. Gonzo was pretty confused, all right. He could now see that it opened up a whole new category of questions. But one question just had to be asked. Who created the souls? And the source said, "That's one of the things you're not supposed to know, dear Gonzo. Some knowledge is not good for the human mind. And it can be poison. But whoever created your sweet loving soul must be a very loving individual itself. That's all the information I can give you on that. You can call the soul creator God. If you think that's funny. And now you know." That the drunken psychopathic asshole with diarrhea pants, down there, in the valley, is not God. He's just one big fuck up. His technical name is Human Number 1. The Devil is number 2, and they both weren't able to fit the description of the species the creators were looking for. The two friends just sat there in that big old date tree enjoying the evening, the soft breeze and each other's company. It was too much information for little Gonzo. They both knew that. But they also had a common understanding of the human mind and knew it would take time and effort to truly understand it. From that simple fact that you're not designed to understand it. The creators made sure of that. But you can let your soul guide you. And it would be mega happy to help. It's all they are waiting for. The sun was going down and it was time for little Gonzo to go to bed. This has been a real nice day with his best friend. Now he understood the evil stuff. It was just souls having a hard time communicating with a machine out of control. And Gonzo felt really sorry for those souls who get a real mean machine. It is a real nasty and a mega clever design. If just everybody knew that, there would be no evil stuff.